My name is Nicholas O'Connell. I'm a writer and I'm a climber. This is my fourth book. It's called The Storms of Denali. It's a novel about an ill-fated mountaineering expedition to Denali. Denali is the Athabascan name for Mount McKinley. Another translation of it is the Great One because it's such an immense peak. It's one of the largest peaks in the entire world and one of the coldest and most dangerous. The storm caught us in the open, halfway down the southeast ridge of Denali, the highest and coldest mountain in North America. The wind gusted furiously, sandblasting my face with ice pellets and knocking me to my knees. I've climbed all over the world, all of the major peaks in the western United States, in Europe. I've climbed in Nepal. And Denali is a special peak. People routinely underestimate it. Many of the Europeans or Asians who try to climb Denali run into enormous problems. It's so cold and so high. Only half of the people who attempt it actually get to the top, and it's often storm-bound. We spent many days in our tents holed up while the wind just blasted over us like a 747, something like that. The slide sounded like distant thunder. It rocketed down the upper face, heading for the gully to our right. The rumble grew deep, strong, ominous. I kept tripping on my crampons, falling and getting up again. You're climbing this thing, you could die, or you could get severely injured. We actually saw a team whose one of whose members had fallen into a crevasse, and the team had not been able to rescue this woman who died in the crevasse. And as we were moving up the glacier, that party moved past us. That was a very sobering moment for us. Climbing the aluminum ladder with a can of roofing adhesive, I felt something in me quicken. At the top, the ladder teetered. The ground swam below me. Adrenaline pricked the back of my neck. Touching the side of the house, I steadied the ladder. The old sense of mastery flooded over me, a feeling as dangerous and addictive as a narcotic, the sensation of ascent. So when you get to the top or even get close, you feel so lucky that you're actually attaining this thing. And so what is in some ways a kind of physical athletic event has this intense sort of spiritual quality to it. You feel like you've gone through this amazing and sometimes almost penitential experience and have arrived at the other side. And so the payoff is just immense. It's almost hard to describe. It's starkly beautiful. There's something about the rock. Most of the rock is granite, and the light up there is just incredible. It has this almost spiritual quality. So those are some of the things that really drew me to writing about the mountain. I had this very, very strong sense of what that experience was like. It was almost burned into me to be up there, to be that cold. I ended up getting frostbite in one of my toes. We were lucky though, and we got to the top on our first try. That experience stayed with me, and as I became a writer and advanced my career, I kept thinking about that experience and wanted to put it into words. This is an ice hammer. It's a black diamond ice hammer, and it is very important to me personally because it has basically kept my butt from falling. I've hung from this thing, terrified many times. Beautiful design. I was inspired by it. And when you have moments of doubt and weakness as a climber, sometimes you just want to hold this thing and say, I want to be like this so that I can get to the top. Climbers as a group are very opinionated people, so even if things are going swimmingly well, they tend to argue a lot. when things are really going poorly, they argue even more. And so my book is full of arguments, and that's part of one of the favorite parts of writing it was to put these arguments in. One of the main conflicts in the book is about this amazing world-class climber named Wynn, who climbs at any cost, above all else. He doesn't really have any other life. The main character, the narrator, John, has a wife and a son, and so, but he still loves to climb. So his conflict in the book is trying to reconcile these two very different worlds. Wynn said, "The rules are different up here. You do what you have to do." His face looked old, crinkled, resigned. "If that means cutting the rope to save yourself, you cut the rope." This book just takes you by the lapels on the first page and doesn't let you go until you've finished it. After you've finished it, the book will stay with you, because at the end it's not completely resolved. You'll live through that experience, you'll climb that peak, you'll have these intense arguments with people that you love and some people that you hate. Mountaineers and people in the outdoor world will especially love it. I know, just because I've gotten the reviews. But all kinds of other people who really don't have any interest in mountaineering but just love a good story. I'd written nonfiction books for years, but I'd been a journalist for many years, and I became very good at that. But I wanted to do something new. I wanted to really learn how to write a novel. It took me a while. And so this is the kind of thing I try to do for others who take my writing classes. Writing is a lot like climbing in that it's an aspirational activity. You have to have a lot of drive and fortitude to make it happen. No one is forcing you to write. No one is forcing you to climb. So you have to have at least that fortitude yourself. However, it really helps to have a guide. So some of my climbs, I've had a guide. In writing, I'm the guide. I help people take that aspiration and realize it. Writing is similar to climbing a peak. I want people to have that goal, and I want them to get there and back down.